So, good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to continue reading. Okay, so welcome, everyone. One, two, and three. Welcome back to our nighttime reading. Yaśodā is here. So tonight, we were going to continue reading Kṛṣṇa book by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So it's been a long time since I read the last chapter. I think we're in. But by the way, I'm also, I want to express my gratitude to all my friends, my fellow devotees, practitioner devotees who helps me to improve my audio, and it's very nice. I mean, I've been doing this for a couple of months, and actually, it's good for me also. I'm doing this reading. The first thing is for myself because somehow I engage in reading and reading and reading, and then I learn some new realization every time I read. So yeah, it's and then also I want to encourage everyone to also open their books, take it out, bring it out, and open your books, reading Srila Prabhupada books, so that we can become strong in our devotional life. Okay, I'm talking too much. Sorry about that. So okay, let's go and gonna read Kṛṣṇa book by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I'm still searching. Uh, I forgot to put some bookmarks. Sorry, bookmark. Okay. So I think we're in chapter 9. So we will going to read chapter 9, but before that, we'll go into chant or invoke the invocation mantra. Okay, so let's get it started. Okay, just gonna bring this away because it's, I don't know. Let's get it started. Chapter 9, Mother Yaśodā binds Lord Kṛṣṇa. Once upon a time, seeing that her maidservant was engaged in different household duties, Mother Yaśodā personally took charge of churning butter. And while she churned butter, she sang the childhood pastimes of Kṛṣṇa and enjoyed thinking of her son. The end of her sari was tightly wrapped while she churned, and on account of her intense love for her son, milk automatically dripped from her breast, which move on she labored very hard, churning with 2 hands. The bangles and bracelet on her hands tickled as they touched each other, and her earrings and breast shook. There were drops of perspiration on her face, and the flower garlands which was on her head scattered here and there. Before this picturesque sight, Lord Kṛṣṇa appeared as child. He felt hungry, and to increase his mother's love, he wanted her to stop churning. He indicated that her first business was to let him suck her breast, and then she could churn butter later. Mother Yaśodā took her son on her lap and pushed the nipple of her breast into his mouth. And while Kṛṣṇa was sucking the milk and smiling, she was enjoying the beauty of her child's face. Suddenly, the milk which was on the stove began to boil over. Just to stop the milk from spilling, Mother Yaśodā at once put Kṛṣṇa aside and went to the stove. Left in that state by his mother, Kṛṣṇa became very angry, and his lips and eyes became red in rage. He bit his lips with his teeth, and taking up a piece of stone, he immediately broke the butter pot. He took butter out of it, and with the false tears in his eyes, he began to eat the butter in a secluded place. In the meantime, Mother Yaśodā returned to the churning place after seeing the overflowing milk pan in order. She saw the broken pot in which the churning yogurt had been kept. Since she could not find her boy, she concluded that the broken pot was his work. She smiled as she thought, "The child is very clever. After breaking the pot, he has left this place, fearing punishment."
setting.
After she sought all over, she found her son sitting on a big wooden grinding mortar, which was kept upside down. He was taking butter from a pot which was hanging from a ceiling on a swing, and he was feeding it to the monkeys. She saw Krishna looking this way and that way in fear of her because he was conscious of his naughty behavior. After
Found.
seeing her son so engaged, she very silently approached him from behind. Krishna, however, saw her coming toward him with a stick in her hand, and he immediately got down from the grinding mortar and began to flee in fear. Mother Yaśodā chased him to all corners trying to capture the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never approached even by the expert meditation of a great yogi. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa, who is never caught by the and speculators, was playing just like a little child for such a great devotee as Mother Yaśodā. Mother Yaśodā, however, could not easily catch the fast-running child because of her thin waist and heavy body. Still, she tried to follow him as fast as possible. Her hair loosened,
Yogis.
and the flowers in her hair fell to the ground. Although she was tired, she somehow reached her naughty child and captured him. Okay, so when he was caught, Krishna was almost on the point of crying. He smeared his hands over his eyes, which were anointed with black eye cosmetics. The child saw his mother's face while she stood over him, and his eyes became restless from fear. Mother Yaśodā could understand that Krishna was unnecessarily afraid, and for his benefit, she wanted to allay his fears. Being the topmost well-wisher of her child, Mother Yaśodā thought, "If the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him." Mother Yaśodā then threw away her stick in order to punish him. She thought to bind his hands with some ropes. She did not know the power of her little child, or that it was actually impossible for her to bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yaśodā was thinking that Krishna was her tiny child. She did not know that the child had no limitation. There is no inside or outside of him, nor beginning or end. He is unlimited and all-pervading. Indeed, he is himself the whole cosmic manifestation. Still, Mother Yaśodā was thinking of Krishna as her child, although he is beyond the reach of all senses. She endeavored to bind him to a wooden grinding mortar, but when she tried to bind him, she found that the rope she was using was too short by 2 inches. So she gathered more ropes from the house and added to it, but still she found the same shortage. In this way, she collected all the ropes available at home, but when the final knot was added, she saw that the rope was still 2 inches too short. Mother Yaśodā was smiling, but she was astonished. How was it happening? In attempting to bind her son, she became tired. She was perspiring, and the garland on her head fell down. Then Lord Krishna appreciated the hard labor of his mother, and being compassionate upon her, he agreed to be bound up by the ropes. Krishna, playing as a human child in the house of Mother Yaśodā, was performing his own selected pastimes. Otherwise, no one can control the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the pure devotee surrenders himself unto the lotus feet of the Lord, who may either protect or vanquish the devotee forgets his subordinate position. Similarly, the Lord also feels transcendental pleasure by submitting himself to the protection of the devotee. This was exemplified by Krishna's surrender unto his mother Yaśodā. Krishna is the supreme bestower of all kinds of liberation to his devotees, but the benediction which was bestowed upon Mother Yaśodā was never experienced even by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva or the goddess of fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Yaśodā and Nanda Maharaj, is never so completely known to the yogis and speculators. But he is easily available to his devotees, nor is he appreciated as the supreme reservoir of all pleasure by the yogis and speculators. After binding her son, Mother Yaśodā engaged herself in household affairs. At the time, bound up to the wooden mortar, Krishna could see a pair of trees before him which were known as Arjuna trees. The great reservoir of pleasure, Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa thus thought to himself, Mother Yaśodā first of all left without feeding me sufficient milk, and therefore I broke the pot of yogurt and distribute the stacked butter in charity to the monkeys. Now she has bound me up to a wooden mortar, so I shall do something more mischievous than before. And thus he thought of pulling down the two very tall Arjuna trees. There is a history behind the fair of Arjuna trees. In their previous lives, they had been the sons of Kubera, and their names were Nalakubar and Minigriva. Fortunately, they later came within the vision of the Lord, and in their previous lives, the great sage Narada had cursed them in order to bestow the highest benediction of seeing Lord Krishna. This benediction curse was bestowed upon them because of their forgetfulness due to intoxication. This story will be narrated in the next chapter. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 9th chapter of Kṛṣṇa. Mother Yaśodā binds Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, we're done with the chapter 9. So, thank you tonight for joining me. Okay, till the next chapter. So, I ended up here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, we're done.